Oh, it's the end of the Democrat-controlled House for sure, probably the Senate.
This is the end.
We'll go over all the latest election developments after the break, then into the economy today. There's huge developments there. Here's the Christian Science Monitor. Is hard currency on its way out? Introducing the new virtual world currency. You're not going to get a new global paper currency. Your currencies will be denominated by the new global digital SDR. You will face scan and thumbprint globally. Part of it will go to an international VAT tax and a carbon tax. It's all been announced in 1975 by the Trilateral Commission. Exactly how all this would happen. That's how you can listen to my show from 15 years ago and hear the same thing. You can watch my films from 13 years ago and hear the exact same thing, or the show from a year ago or a month ago. But I told you, now is the time they're going to announce this. Did I pull a rabbit out of a hat? I'm not an incredible person. You know, I didn't have a crystal ball. I read their own documents, and I've seen them do everything they say they're going to do, or at least try it. So we're going to be covering that. But about an hour and a half ago, the fear-mongering began. I get ready at home. I was driving into the office and was listening to MSNBC on XM, Sirius, and they were going, oh, my gosh, there could be multiple bombs out of the Middle East on multiple aircraft. There are 2 aircraft, one in Newark, New Jersey, and another in Philadelphia. And, oh, my gosh, the government's saving us. And there's another courthouse up in Maine where there might be a bomb. And there's a UPS truck in Queens, New York, and the FBI's on it. Could it be a big attack? Oh, my gosh, bombs, bombs. And within 30 minutes driving in, they had shifted it and said, well, this is a over response out of, caution, but it's a good thing to do this. And now we know it was England, and there was a shipment out of Yemen of a printer cartridge, and the printer cartridge looked very suspicious. And so basically any shipments now out of that airport, we are going to have to search them. And the terrorist, we've got the naked body scanners to keep you safe from Mutalib and the underwear bomber. They actually said that. But we've got to put more security on the packages. And we've got to do something about private aviation. People are able to just go get on their own planes. And, oh, my gosh, what are we going to do? It's going into the holiday season, and Al-Qaeda loves to ruin our holidays. They love to do this. And on and on and on. So 2 UPS planes isolated at Philly and in Newark. And it goes on to say that they are trying to keep us safe, and they've isolated the planes, and they're going over them. Cargo planes grounded in U.S. security scare. And police surround UPS planes, and they're looking at UPS trucks in New York State and in Queens and just in Long Island and just everywhere. It's so scary. And as this unfolds, we'll continue to tell you everything that's going on. Oh my gosh! And every day I hear news reports, even in Texas, where it always starts around deer season. Somebody's putting their deer rifle in their car, or somebody sees somebody with a deer rifle in their gun rack. And it's totally legal, but they call the police, and we saw a man with a rifle. We saw a man getting in his car. I heard that yesterday on local news. It's so scary. We've got an alert. The police are on the ground. They may lock down areas of College Station. Somebody was seen with a rifle. Oh, my goodness. It's this culture of total and complete hysteria. But then the flu vaccine last year conservatively maimed and brain damaged tens of thousands in the U.S., admittedly caused deaths in the U.S., Europe, Australia, mainstream news. People died. Then it's like, oh, well, that's just a side effect sometimes. It's worth it overall to protect you from the flu that's so deadly. And then they admit, oh, by the way, the H1N1 shot was filled with all sorts of things that cause serious health problems. Oh, and then meanwhile, remember 2 years ago, it finally hit the news that FedEx and others were shipping weaponized flu and other things to thousands of labs. 5,000 plus labs in the U.S. had a super weaponized flu, and we found out about it when a truck, a FedEx truck, crashed, and this stuff was all over the highway. Oh, remember early last year, it was in BBC, it was in Le Figaro, it was in Der Spiegel. It first broke in the Czech Republic. 14 labs had super weaponized flu sent to them, and one technician happened to test it on ferrets, and it killed them. And Baxter Pharmaceuticals said it was all just an accident, but then we have the headline where in Poland and other countries, large portions of the homeless population died when they were given another experimental flu shot. You can just type homeless die after flu shot, but that's okay. That's no big deal. But a package, it could be a bomb. Bombs are so scary. We're going to get into the election, the economy, and a lot more straight ahead. Finishing up with all of this hype terror where they get everyone hyperventilating over a backpack at a federal building or over somebody putting their gun in the back of their car. This is all dog training. We're all being conditioned to accept our comfort zones being entered, into having our rights violated. And in every case, they do it for the drug war. And it's on record that the government ships in the majority of the drugs. They've been caught over and over again. They create the crisis. They make the drugs illegal, jacking up the price. They offer the solution, total police state. They provocateur or stage the terror attacks. They offer the solution, total end of the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And here's a story out of ABC News. They're nudging you. Oh, you won't go through the naked body scanners. Well, they'll just force women to do it because on average women are more compliant. And I watched that in California Tuesday morning taking off from San Jose. I sat there for 15 minutes after I went to the checkpoint watching the naked body scanners, and they were only putting women and children through, and women with children. No men. No men. They'll also just randomly say, today at the ferry we're searching all black cars or all red cars, or today we're searching all men, or we're searching all RVs. So that may have been it too, but there they were, naked body scanning, pounding them with radiation, recording their naked bodies. The government's now been caught lying about that. They admit they record them. Mobile trucks, state courthouses, federal courthouses, they are putting out the mobile trucks, looking through your walls with incredibly high-powered radiation, dwarfing even the naked body scanners. And the head of the TSA, 3 months ago, told the Chicago Tribune, he said, in the future, in the next few years, it will be mandatory. You won't be able to opt out for a pat-down. And now they have secondary checks at the gate after you've already gone through. And I've witnessed it. Aaron, who flies a lot doing interviews for the films, has witnessed it, where they make old women and men who cannot stand up, who are paralyzed, get up. And they make other passengers, if they're by themselves, stand them up. And an old woman's crying, I can't, I mean, these are people with serious health problems, going to get cancer therapy, going to visit their family one more time. I've seen groups, one time in San Francisco, flying out to Hawaii. I wasn't flying to Hawaii. I was flying out of San Francisco back to Texas, but they were going to Hawaii. And it was a group of World War II vets. This is about 6 years ago, who were, because I talked to them, and they all had their hats on and their vest on. They were Pearl Harbor battle survivors. And you've seen an old man who looks like he's about to die, where the eyes start sagging, where they droop down. You can see the red of the inside of the eyelids, and their eyes are seeping, and they've got, crusty stuff all over their skin, and they're on a walker just battling to go with their buddies back one more time. And they had weird secondary checks then with some type of security firm. A memory serves, it was called Wolverine Security, and it was kind of bright blue fatigues, and it was foreigners who could barely speak English. Whatever the security group this was, it was mainly Asian men, and they were literally going, hallelujah, and go, get up. And these old guys are getting up, and one of them has an oxygen tank, and they're all, what is that? What are you doing? And the guy's like, he can't even really understand them. And this has been written about all over the news, the strip searching women, to making them take their shirts off, making women drink their own breast milk. Like, what's in that bottle? Well, it's baby breast milk. I just pumped it. Well, drink it. And then TSA workers flipping out repeatedly and saying, I'm God, I'm God. Don't believe me? Guys, just search the term TSA worker says he's God. Or, and they just go crazy on the power trip and start announcing, I'm God, and started stripping off naked, running around. I mean, these are the type of lunatics. They have this police officer in Austin named Katana, and that's his last name. In fact, I had the article yesterday, never got to it. And Katana turned off a squad car video, shot a youth in a car. He got sued over it. The city's defending the suit. Then he got a DWI, and they still kept him hired. They still kept him on. And now he got fired because another police officer who's a female says that he came and invaded her house. Here's the article. Police chief fires Quintana. Domestic incident involving another officer leads to firing less than a week after Quintana was reinstated. 6 days after Austin police officer Leonardo Quintana was released and reinstated to the force, police chief Art Acevedo fired him Wednesday for a second time this year, saying Quintana trespassed in the home of another officer and assaulted her. The 7-page disciplinary memo said the officer, with whom Quintana had been romantically linked, hit her head on the wall on the incident, breaking the drywall and requiring her to seek medical treatment. The officer, Lori Norgella, said she is identified in the memo only as Officer A, also told Internal Affairs investigators that Quintana pinned her against the door to take a ring from her. On multiple occasions, he reportedly assaulted her. I mean, you know, these people are unstable. If a cop gets a DWI, fired. You're at a higher standard. If a cop turns his squad car video off and then there's a suspicious shooting, gone. But they keep the bad guys in there until their exploits get more and more insane, more and more crazy. In fact, you guys actually found the NBC article about the guy saying he was God. Put that back up on screen for me. Thank you. TSA agent arrested at LAX, and it goes on to say he was behaving erratically and saying, I'm God, I'm in charge, I'm God. And then I guess it was another one he started saying something similar and running around stripping naked. That was a different one. And then how many times do they get a good-looking woman cornered and they're doing a pat-down of her, and they say, listen, I'm going to say you got drugs or bombs unless you give me your phone number and become my sex slave. At least they get in trouble for that. Or other TSA workers have to go through the scanners every day because they like to abuse the abusers, and they keep making fun of the guy's genitals day after day. So he punches his supervisor in the nose, and the government says, he's arrested, it doesn't matter, we're allowed to make fun of your genitals. Remember almost a year ago in England, we reported how TV stars over there, repeatedly, the women will print off their genitals and ask them to sign it? That was confirmed, and our government, and the British government said, this is ridiculous. There's no way to even save these or print them. Turns out in the manuals, they look at your genitals to tune the machine. They look at the genitals for details to see if the machine's tuned to look for weapons. So in the training, they look at your genitals, because that's an area that has different folds and a shape that they can clearly tell if it's focused. Kind of like if you're a videographer, you focus in on the cracks on somebody's eyes, their crow's feet, or you focus in on their pupil, and then make sure you can see the different colors in their eye. That's how you know you've got a true focus before you back the camera out. Well, they look at your genitals, and they record it, and TSA now admits they recorded it, and at one courthouse in Florida, they saved over 40,000 images in a few months alone of your children. Now, there was a lawsuit in Denver at the state courthouse over this, and they brought in the state and federal law that people under 18, it is child porn, and so now at that one facility, they don't scan under 18. All right, I've got to get into the election news and the economy. I'm just illustrating all of this right now, how it all ties together.